Everyone suffers from police misconduct. Although we deal with our constitutional rights being violated, innocent citizens being arrested, and constant harassment, we sit and do nothing about it. You may be asking, what can I do? Did you know that you may have potentially left hundreds of thousands of dollars floating in the air? Yes, you may have had the rights that you didn't know you have violated. Having your rights violated is more than being abused by the police. Did you know that when you are stopped by police, there is a 75% chance that one of your constitutionally protected rights were violated? The United States Supreme Court have made several rulings making even the smallest of violations by police unconstitutional. Do you know what these violations are? My name is Abaya Israel, and I'm a former police officer and a former sheriff deputy. I want you to download my free ebook and register to take my online video course titled Surviving the Police, so you can learn your constitutionally protected rights. The next time a police officer violates your rights, you will be aware and alert and able to fight back the legal way. Don't be that person who was taken advantage of and you never received compensation because you were unaware. Register for my online video course today, so if you are unjustly targeted by police, you will be compensated. It's time to help put an end to police misconduct. Register today at wethepeopleuniversity.com.
Shalom Care, grooming essentials for the modern man of color. Shalom Care, grooming essentials for the modern man of color. Paraben-free, peace with care. For beard mousse, armpit mousse, or jock mousse, visit Shalom Care for you.com. Shalom Care.
Brand disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this platform by individuals, callers, or invited guests are their own. The information you hear does not reflect the overall views of all parties associated with the brand. We encourage everyone to research all things heard live or via archive for edification purposes. Discretion is advised.
Help keep the show on the air. If you want to help, you can send your donation to PayPal. The email is debatetalkforyou@gmail.com or through Cash App, $Sal Showtime. Thanks for your support.
Shalom, shalom, Shabbat, shalom. You're now tuning in to Debate Talk for You Radio. I am Gabbar Alaha, and this is the Sabbath Meal, episode 31. Today, we're going to be getting into latest news and updates from around the world today. Before I begin, I just want to give all praises to the Most High Yahweh in the authority of His only begotten Son, Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, who was commonly called Jesus Christ, and to everyone tuning in now, whether it's live or on the playback. May Yahweh keep you and watch over you always. Big shout out to Sal Showtime for allowing us to do our thing here on Debate Talk for You. You guys see the information scrolling down at the bottom, so make sure you like, share, subscribe, and donate, and make sure you stay up to date to what we do here on Debate Talk for You. So once again, Sabbath Meal, episode 31. Going to be getting into latest updates from around the world today. So I believe it was on episode 22 on Sabbath Meal where I had read about 10 different news journals from different sources. So we're going to pretty much do the same thing today. And like last time, the link is already posted at the top of the chat if you're tuning in live on YouTube. You guys can come on in and join the discussion. If you got anything that you want to share as far as like any news or any current events, you guys can share that as well, or we can talk about the ones that I'm going to be bringing out today. So you guys can come on in and join the discussion. And yeah, we're just gonna move through. Don't plan to hold you guys for too long today. Just want to say Shabbat Shalom to He Wilder Bruise, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. All right. So once again, we're gonna be go ahead and getting into the latest news and updates from around the world today. So the link is posted at the top of the chat. The link is posted at the top of the chat if you guys want to come on in and join the discussion. All right. So let me move this over here so that way I can be reading from this other screen. Give me 1 second here, guys. All right, I'll put that over there. And we'll go we'll do it like this. I want to try this one out because StreamYard has actually made some updates. So I want to try this one out today. See how this one works out. All right, so yeah, let's try this one out today. All right, so I kind of like this view. All right, so this is going to be the first one that we're going to be going over. FDA approves Pfizer jab for kids, but even they don't seem sure it's safe. FDA approves Pfizer jab for kids, but even they don't seem sure it's safe. All right. So this was posted on November 1st from RT. All right. So scrolling down, it says American children have no choice but to act as experimental test subjects for the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine to determine the jab's safety. The Food and Drug Administration has apparently concluded. Good luck, kids. We're never going to learn about how safe the vaccine is unless we start giving it. Salakia, like editor of New England Journal of Medicine and Harvard adjunct professor Eric Rubin argued last week. His words buried within the 8-hour barrage of presentations and discussions that swirled around the FDA advisories the panel's approval of mRNA jab for children aged 5 to 11. The FDA followed up on the adversaries panel's 17-0 recommendation with approval, as it typically does on Friday. If the Center for Disease Control and Prevention follows suit, some 28 million American children will be quickly served up as fresh-faced fodder for a smaller dose of the COVID-19 vaccine already poised to inject some 100 million American adults. That is, as soon as President Joe Biden is able to whip up a legally binding demand he can submit to the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. All right, so scrolling down. So it says Friday's FDA approval means only the CDC stands between American children and a warp speed rollout of the Pfizer jab. However, the rush to approval doesn't necessarily mean there are no concerns. A disturbingly large portion of the FDA committee's members are connected to Pfizer in some way or another, leading vaccine skeptics to carry foul. Meanwhile, a growing portion of the country continues to denounce the mandates in general, insisting everyone should be able to make their own decision regarding whether or not they wish to get injected. Echoing the newly reanimated pro-choice slogan, mandate protesters recently swarmed the Brooklyn Bridge, declaring "My body, my choice" as New York City employees face the potential loss of their jobs as firefighters, police officers, sanitation handlers, and corrections officers, due to Mayor Bill de Blasio's insistence that all municipal employees get vaxxed or be regulated to the purgatory of open-ended unpaid leave. All right, so let me all right, so I'm gonna pause there for a second. So I actually had heard another news update about a week or so ago while I was on Clubhouse. and they were talking about how because of this, there's like so much trash in New York City now because sanitation workers include your garbage collectors. So all the trash. So now trash is not being picked up and it's causing a bad smell. And you already know that New York has a reputation for rats. So now the rats are getting worse, and so this mandate is backfiring. Because people are not they're not willingly wanting to take it, regardless of mandates that are going out and whatever. There's a lot of people who don't want to just take it. So it's backfiring, and now they're having a problem. Okay. So let's continue on. The FDA's effort to pull the cart so far in front of the horse mirrored the words of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi during the congressional tug of war over Obamacare in 2010. Faced with a phone book size, dubiously legal bill like Salakia, dubiously legal bill unlike anything Congress has passed before, and no realistic time frame to wrangle with the details. Pelosi suggested that Congress will have to pass the bill to find out what's in it, away from the fog of controversy. Since then, legislation by brute force has only grown as the means by which laws are passed in the U.S., as ever more polarized parties refuse to give an inch and betray the appearance of weakness. Allowing the other side to be seen as achieving even the slightest victory is unconscionable, and that framework remains in place in the vaccination arena, where it makes less sense than anywhere else. After all, it was former President Donald Trump's Operation Warp Speed that bought the world the Pfizer shot, even if the jab itself wasn't rolled out until shortly, some would say deliberately, after the 2020 election, and vaccine mandates have since become a cause celebrate of the Democratic Party. Uh, with half of the U.S. in arms about the other half's supposed refusal to roll up its sleeves and submit to an intensely politicized needle, anyone who hesitates is denounced post haste in a 21st century witch hunt to be fired, if not set on fire, outfitted with the scarlet, uh, out with the scarlet A for anti-vaxxer, not adulterous, and otherwise chased out of the public square, deplatformed from Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook, if not chased physically with pitchforks and torches. Similar divisions have erupted across Europe, and countries like Slovakia, and countries can't even say like Italy and France have pushed the issue even further, barring the unvaccinated from so much as entering grocery stores to buy food. While the U.S. study of the Pfizer vaccine's effects on children 5 to 11 failed to turn up any deadly side effects, critics argue its population size was too small to be effective for such a purpose. Parents of some jab recipients have observed disturbing symptoms in their offspring in the hours and days following the shots, and filmed heartbreaking testimonials describing their downfall from healthy children to pain racked perma patients experiencing near constant seizures, facial distortions, uh, debilitating, uh, debilitating heart problems, and other dire health issues. Another doctor on the FDA committee, Michael Kurula of the National Institutes of Health, abstained from voting on recommending Pfizer BioNTech's vaccine entirely, citing a lack of evidence that all children need the shot. And while Kurula, an infectious disease and pathology expert, was the only panel member to abstain from voting, he was not only the member to like openly express misgivings about dueling out the jab to young Americans. His colleague, Dr. Cody uh, Miesner, I'm hoping I'm saying it right. Dr. Cody Miesner of Tufts University suggested that it would be an error to mandate the jab for children to return to school until there was more hard data. We simply don't know what the side effects are going to be, he said, acknowledging the shot. Like its adults uh equivalent probably wouldn't prevent transmission of the virus. While he was not opposed to administering the shot to certain vulnerable subgroups inside the age 5 and 11 inside the 5 and 11 age group, Miesner was concerned approving the shot for everyone in that category would lead to a heavy-handed mandate, the likes of which is currently being wielded against American adults. Children who receive the Pfizer BioNTech jab may actually get less immunity and face more risks than supplied by getting and recovering from a current strain of COVID-19. Karula told the Daily Mail, referring to the Delta variant and other current strains of COVID-19 circulating among the population. The question really becomes, does this vaccine offer any benefits to them at all? He asked rhetorically during the FDA committee meeting. Slocky, he would have voted yes if the FDA had merely proposed opening up access to the vaccine to a subset of those ages 5 to 11, but he disagreed with administering it to all children within that age group. All right, and let me go ahead and read this last little part. It says two other panel members voted to disprove their misgivings. Miesner argued that a very small percent of otherwise healthy 6 to 11-year-old children might derive some benefit, while president and CEO of Meharry Medical College, James Hildreth, agreed that vaccinating all of the children seems a bit much for me, pointing to the relatively low risk of hospitalization and near zero risk of death by COVID-19 for children. Oh my gosh. All right, let me go ahead and finish this up because and the more I read this, the more I'm just appalled. Anyway, speaking up against the jab, even circumstantially, has become the kiss of death in the medical community, with even medical rock stars like Robert Malone, one of the inventors of mRNA as a drug, cast into the dustpan of history for expressing skepticism that his invention was being incorrectly used to deliver the COVID-19 vaccine. However, governments worldwide are setting themselves up for civil war as populations are forced to choose one side or another. Even many of the vaccinated have acknowledged that the jab should not be forced on anyone, while entire industries like shipping, air travel, defense, and the grind to a halt and the like grind to a halt as mandates run up against the stubborn will of their employees. Southwest Airlines was allegedly forced to cancel thousands of flights like earlier this month due to a reported mass sick out by air traffic controllers unwilling to get vaxxed, though the airline itself has denied this, and rumors of trucker strikes from Australia to America have food sellers panicking at the thought of empty shelves. As it stands, parents who are willing to submit themselves to experimental shots in the name of convenience and retaining employment may not be so willing to offer up their children as sacrifices to a company once denounced by the U.S. Justice Department as the worst fraudster in the pharmaceutical industry. Governments have shown themselves as profoundly untrustworthy throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, are unlikely to change their behavior at the last minute, and parents are wise to take care in where they place their trust. All right. So so there you have it right there. That's the first one. All right, so let's stop that for a second. Um Yeah, interesting. So a lot of people are not taking the jab. Companies are having issues with productivity because employees ain't coming to work because of the mandates, and my body, my choice. Um Health experts are concerned about all children getting the jab. I mean, who wouldn't be, and the for the clinical trials, there's been side effects already. There's already been like side effects in children. So similar side effects to what were in adults actually, when you actually think about it. So again, why would you subject your children to this when they actually don't need it? As the doctor has stated, even the founder of mRNA, person who invented it, is like, this is not being used correctly. The delivery for this is not being used correctly. So the inventor of mRNA is saying this and got a lot of backlash for it. Anyway, if you guys want to come in, the link is posted. The link is posted if you guys want to discuss this. And whatever else is going to be brought out. Again, we're going over the latest updates concerning current events from around the world. Okay. So this is just the one on uh the FDA approving the Pfizer jab, but they're not even sure. They're not even sure if it's safe. They're not even sure. Okay. They're just kind of just going along. And a lot of people are already not taking it. But yet they're just going along with the program because they have to. All right. So let's continue on. All right. Let me pop this back in here. Okay, so next one we're gonna go to is all right, I need to stop sharing the screen. Give me a second here. Oh, hey, hold on. I can just switch it over. All right, give me a second, guys. You know what? I'm just gonna share this window. Yeah, let me just share this window with you guys so that way you guys can see what's going on. All right. All right, so let's go to this next one. All right, so this is from Al Jazeera. So Biden administration approves $650 million weapon sale to Saudi Arabia. Pentagon says enabling kingdom to buy U.S. made air-to-air missiles would improve the security of a friendly country. All right, so the United States has approved a $650 million sale of air-to-air missiles to Saudi Arabia, the Pentagon announced, in what will be the Biden administration's first major weapons deal with the Gulf Kingdom. In a statement on Thursday, the Pentagon said the U.S. State Department approved the sale to help Riyadh counter current and future threats. This proposed sale will support U.S. foreign policy and national security of the United States by helping to improve the security of a friendly country that continues to be an important force for political and economic progress in the Middle East, the Pentagon said. It added that Massachusetts-based firm Raytheon would be the principal contractor for the sale of AIM 120 C7 /C8 advanced medium range air to air missiles, or AMRAAM, and related equipment. The sale comes months after President Joe Biden said he would end U.S. support for Saudi Arabia's offensive operations in Yemen, including relevant arms sales. The State Department's Bureau of Political Military Affairs noted in a series of tweets on Thursday that the missiles are not used to engage ground targets. We've seen an increase in cross-border attacks against Saudi Arabia over the past year, it added. Saudi AIM-120C missiles deployed from Saudi aircraft have been instrumental in intercepting these attacks that also put U.S. forces at risk and over 70,000 U.S. citizens in the kingdom at risk. The sale does not require congressional approval, but lawmakers can block the deal by passing a disapproval bill in the Senate and the House of Representatives. The missile sale follows the U.S. approval of a $500 million helicopter maintenance deal for the kingdom in September. Saudi Arabia's critics were quick to slam the deal on Thursday. This has nothing to do with making the world a better place and everything to do with fueling our defense economy. Marianne Williamson, an author and former presidential candidate, wrote on Twitter. Like it. America's economy should not be built around merchandising death. As a candidate, Biden berated Saudi Arabia over the Yemen war and the killing of U.S.-based journalist Jamal Khashoggi, calling the kingdom a pariah. A State Department spokesperson said the air-to-air missile sale is fully consistent with the administration's pledge to lead with diplomacy to end the conflict in Yemen, while also ensuring Saudi Arabia has the means to defend itself from the Iranian-backed Houthi airstrikes. The Saudi intervention in Yemen started in 2015 when the kingdom and a coalition of its regional allies started a bombing campaign against the country's Houthi rebels who had taken over the capital, Sana'a, and much of the country. Saudi Arabia considers the Houthis to be Iran proxies, allegations that both the rebel and Tehran reject. The war had spurred a massive humanitarian crisis, and the UN said last year that approximately 233,000 people had died as a result of the conflict. Amid increasing cross-border attacks by the Houthis and an offensive by the rebels to take the strategic city of Marib, Saudi Arabia offered a ceasefire in Yemen in March. But the Houthis rejected the proposal, stressing that the Saudi-led air and sea blockade on the country must be lifted while conditions before the fighting will end. Okay, so there you have it. So you see, just wanted to bring this article out, because we got to be aware of the kind of deals that our government makes, with those in the Middle East. And I don't want to go into who's who and all that stuff, but let's just say that as far as the Americans and the Saudis, there's definitely a lot of ties there. There's definitely a lot of ties there. A lot of those ties even go back biblically. Okay, as far as who's who, I'll just say that much for now. But before I continue on, once again, the link is in the chat if you guys want to come in. Again, we're going over latest news and updates from around the world. So just sharing these so that way we can stay up to date on what's going on. Okay, it's important that we stay up to date with current events. All right. As we come down through the times that we are in. All right, so let's continue on. All right, so next one. All right, from Euro News. All right, Facebook is shutting down its facial recognition system and deleting 1 billion face prints. All right, Facebook will shut down its facial recognition system and delete their facial recognition templates of over 1 billion people who opted in to use the technology since it was introduced over a decade ago. In a blog post announcing the decision, Jerome Pincenti, vice president of artificial intelligence for Facebook's new parent company, Meta, said that while facial recognition had valid use cases such as identity verification and device security, there were also significant risks. There are many concerns about the place of facial recognition technology in society, and regulators are still in the process of providing a clear set of rules governing its use, he said. Facebook's move means that the platform will no longer suggest people to tag in photos or videos. Visually impaired users will also be affected, as Facebook will no longer generate automatic alt text identifying individuals who appear in photos. Controversial technology. Critics of facial recognition say it can be used to harm individual privacy and extended surveillance. Duh. Last year, U.S. computing firm IBM announced it would stop selling general purpose facial recognition and analysis software, citing issues like massive surveillance, racial profiling, violations of basic human rights and freedoms, and in its decision. We believe now the time to begin a national dialogue on whether and how facial recognition technology should be employed by domestic law enforcement agencies. IBM CEO Irvine Krishna wrote in a letter to U.S. lawmakers. Facebook's face scanning landed a 5 billion or a 4.3 billion pounds fine from the U.S. Federal Trade Commission, a government consumer protection agency, in 2019. The company's settlement with the FTC included a commitment to providing a clear and conspicuous notice before people's photos and videos were subjected to facial recognition technology. As a result, Facebook stopped automatically recognizing people in photos and made it easier to opt out of the feature. But despite debate over the ethics of the technology, over a third of Facebook's active daily users, some 640 million people, have opted in to facial recognition, the company said. Privacy advocates welcome the move. In his blog post, Meta's presentee said the company was moving away from mass deployment of facial recognition and towards narrower forms of personal identification, like the Face ID technology used to unlock some Apple devices. This is a tremendously significant recognition that this technology is inherently dangerous. Nathan Wessler of American Civil Liberties Union told the Associated Press news agency, a key issue is that to make facial recognition work, companies have to build vast libraries of face prints. This has often happened without consent, Wessler said. In October, rideshare service Uber was taken to an employment tribunal in the UK by a black driver who claimed he was sacked after facial recognition software used by the company failed to recognize him. I forgot to read this part up here. Let me go back. Facial recognition algorithms themselves are also prone to failures, with studies finding they work unevenly across different gender, uh, race, or age groups. In October, rideshare service Uber was taken to an employment tribunal in the UK by a black driver who claimed he was sacked after facial recognition software used by the company failed to recognize him. And I was actually reading about that. All right. So, and that's it for that. So, Facebook, no more facial recognition. They're going to move towards the face scan. I mean, I don't know if that's any better, but I mean, because me personally, I don't use the facial recognition software, for the iPhone that I do have that I been provided to me by my employer. Like, I don't use that. So because I just don't like to use that. I don't use the fingerprint stuff. I don't do none of that with these phones. Okay, but yeah, they're getting away from it. Uh with this new launch Meta, I haven't really checked it out yet, but I've been kind of reading up a little bit about Meta. So I don't know too much about it, but yeah, with this launch now, they're gonna say, well, we're gonna stop using facial recognition, but they've been using facial recognition for so long now. I mean, that's why I don't have any pictures of myself on Facebook. This is why when I came back on social media, I decided to not put any pictures of myself on there, because that was one of the reasons why I had got off. And I really had to kind of like scrub myself off of there, even though I know there's still some pictures of me floating around. But I just didn't want that on there because I mean, I know that, you know, um it's a large database for government authorities to use, to track you down and stuff like that. So, but I mean, if they're gonna just move towards the type where you basically do it with like how you do it with the Apple iPhone, I mean, I don't know. I don't trust that either. All right. But again, the link is in the chat. The link is in the chat if you guys want to come in. Again, we're going over the latest news and updates. So once again, the link is in the chat. It is actually posted at the top of the chat. So if you guys want to come in and discuss it, um, so we're gonna move on to the next one. Okay. All right. So moving along. All right. So this is from CNN. World food prices are up 30% in a year. Okay. All right. So world food prices have surged to the highest level in more than a decade, driven by robust demand and lackluster harvests, according to the United Nations. Prices increased for the third consecutive month in October, rising 3% over September, according to an index published by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, FAO. The gains were driven by a sharp rise in vegetable oil and wheat prices. The FAO Food Price Index tracks monthly changes across a range of food commodities. The index has risen by more than 30% over the past year. It now stands as the highest level at its highest level since July 2011, the FAO said on Thursday. The price of wheat is grown on more Salaki. The price of wheat, which is grown on more land area than any other commercial crop, surged 5% in October because of reduced harvest from major exporters, including Canada, Russia, and the United States. Barley rice and maize and maize prices also increased. uh Firmer prices for palm, soy, sunflower, and rapeseed oils led to a 9.6 increase in the FAO vegetable price index. Palm oil prices spiked on concerns about subdued production in Malaysia due to a shortage of migrant workers. The FAO cited high global demand for a range of products such as milk powder, poultry, vegetable oils, and barley. Food supplies and prices are under pressure from extreme weather, snarled supply chains, worker shortages, and rising costs. Supermarkets in some major economies have struggled to keep their shelves fully stocked at points during the pandemic. In the United Kingdom, where worker shortages have been exacerbated by Brexit, fast food chains have been forced to remove popular menu items because of shortages. This week, a a missive about stockpiling from China's Ministry of Commerce sparked panic buying among the public. The notice ordered local authorities to ensure that their citizens have an adequate supply of essentials this winter to keep food costs stable. Rising food commodity prices are leading to higher costs for consumer goods companies, some of which are passing price increases onto shoppers. Unilever, Kraft Heinz, and Mondelez have all hiked prices on popular products. There may be relief coming in some areas. Failing demand for pigs in China helped push the FAO meat price index to its third consecutive monthly decline. Sugar prices dipped in October after increasing for 6 months in a row. All right, so I mean, other than the stuff about pigs, I don't care about pigs in China, but because we don't eateth or dineth on the swine. But yeah, so as we all know, the cost of food has been going up a lot. I mean, places where I go, I mean, I would go get a burger, and I would be able to get like two meals and stuff, from like In and Out. In the past, it would be like 12, $13, and now you go back, it's like almost $20 now. I'm like, what the heck? Like, that's a big jump. It ain't like you jumped up $1 or two, you jumped up like 5, 6, $7. So it's definitely a big jump in the cost of food. And you do see that there are some slight shortages in some of the stores, even here in California. You do actually see that as well. So um yeah, definitely there's some things going on with the food and with the cost of food. COVID definitely plays a part in that, because and then now the vaccine, because people are not taking it, which means that food production is not where it needs to be, you know, as much wickedness as they do on these farms, but um even that production is slowing down, and it's not just happening here, but it's happening, across the world. So hence why, there's a rise in the cost of food, because the production has slowed down. So they don't have the means to put the production out, among other variables as well, as we were reading about. Okay. So once again, the link is posted at the top of the chat if you guys want to come in. The link is posted at the top of the chat. We are going over news and current events heard from around the world. All right. We're going to move on to the next one. All right. So this is from AP News. All right. AP News. China LGBT rights groups shut down amid hostile environment. All right, so check this out. All right, so this is coming out of Taiwan. An influential LGBT advocacy group in China that has spearheaded many of the legal cases pushing for greater rights is halting its work amid growing restrictions on social activism. LGBT rights advocacy China announced it was ceasing all activities and shutting down its social media accounts in an announcement on social media Thursday. We are deeply regretful to tell everyone queer advocacy online will stop all of our work indefinitely. The group said on WeChat using the name of its social media account. It's closed its accounts on WeChat and Weibo, two widely used platforms in China. A member confirmed that all the group's activities have been shut down. The member, who spoke to the Associated Press on condition of uh, anonymity of safety of because of safety concerns, declined to say why. Group founder Ping Yanzi did not respond to a request for comment. LGBT rights advocacy China did work across the country pushing for the rights of gay people and raising awareness about the community. It advocated for same sex marriage and fought workplace discrimination by helping individuals sue their former employees. While there are many other groups focused on helping LGBT individuals, LGBT rights advocacy is one of a handful who focused on changing law and policy. The Ministry of Civil Affairs announced Friday that they have dealt with 3,300 illegal social organizations, according to the official Xinhua News agency. The ministry also shut down some 200 illegal websites and individual social media accounts that were not registered with any government entity. It is unclear if the group was shut down as part of the government campaign. The ministry did not immediately respond to a faxed request for comment. The group mentioned they were in trouble a few months ago, said a 30-year-old LGBT activist who knows the group's founders and who spoke on condition of anonymity. Lawyers who helped the group with cases had also stopped their work then. LGBT rights advocacy China, who was co-founded by Ping and other activists named Akwayang in 2013, and focused their efforts on securing legal rights for LGBT individuals through strategic lawsuits. One of their most high-profile cases came early on in 2014 when Peng himself went undercover to a facility that claimed it could treat homosexuality with electroshock therapy. He sued the company and won. The group often brought landmark cases to the court, challenging the law to make space for non-traditional families, and often helped start public discussions on those issues. In April last year, they helped a lesbian sue for custody rights for her children, and her partner took them and stopped communicating. After her partner took them and stopped communicating with her, she had given birth to one of the two children. Under Chinese law, she could claim she was the birth mother of one child, but wanted to fight for the right to see the other as well. Her case is still lingering in court. The group also helped a young woman sue textbook publishers for writing that homosexuality was a disorder in a high profile case that gained national prominence and was reported on by state media. She lost the case in February after years of litigation. In the entire community, they gave us a lot of hope and guidance, giving everyone the confidence to out there and do something, said a 34-year-old man who sued his former employer in 2018 for discrimination and won with the help of the group. He declined to be named out of fear of retribution, citing the current environment. Homosexuality is not a crime in China and in bigger cities. There's a vibrant social scene where LGBT individuals can socialize without much fear or discrimination. However, restrictions on advocacy groups and online censorship have grown. In July, WeChat shut down dozens of accounts run by university students and nonprofit groups on LGBT topics. One LGBT blogger, who also declined to be named out of fear of retribution, said it's getting increasingly difficult to run an LGBT group in current circumstances, noting that WeChat and other social media platforms are deleting related content. Shanghai Pride canceled its annual event in 2020 and said it would no longer hold it without explanation after 11 years of operation. Another well-known group, True Self, which often held events to teach families how to accept their LGBT children, would tell people not to mention the word gay in publicizing their events, said the man who had previously sued his employer for discrimination. The space for acceptance for sexual minorities is less and less. It's not like before. Pandemic restrictions also played a role in cutting down on the number of events the groups would hold, he added. For now, the groups are struggling to operate within the constraints. The future may bring more uncertainties. We await the day when we can lift the clouds and see the daylight, LGBT rights advocacy China said in their post. All right. So, we don't often get to see what goes on in other countries and what they deal with. So, with regard to the LGBT community, here of course they've added more letters, LGBTQIA plus whatever, so they've added a lot more letters here. But so of course, over like how they have their groups here, they have their groups over there, but their groups get shut down by the government. their advocacy groups get shut down by the government. Whereas here, the government gives them rights, a lot of rights, and a lot of power. So we see the times that we are in, because again, the word most high, as we wake up and as we repent and turn back, we see where we are at, and what we have to deal with, and what gets pushed even on our children. We have to fight on the opposite side just for our children to not have the stuff pushed on us if we don't want to teach them this lifestyle in this land that we live in currently. While in China, hey, that type of push gets shut down. That type of push gets shut down. Okay. All right. So once again, the link is in the chat. The link is in the chat if you want to come in and discuss any of this, join the panel and join the discussion on these current events that we're going over. All right. So let's continue on. Let's go ahead. Let's go to the next one. All right. So this is from the Campaign Against Anti-Semitism. All right. So it says Kanye West says that Jewish people kill each other in business during interview. All right. So let me go ahead and read it first. All right. So it says in a newly released interview that took place on the podcast Drink Champs, musician Kanye West has said that Jewish people kill each other in business. Toward the end of the interview, Mr. West spoke on the issue of Black mobility within society and said, I'm a community builder, but the people that have that but the people that have in the past been in position of power are going to try to separate Jay-Z and Damon Dash, separate. Hold on, let me read that over because it looked like they left out a lot of punctuations. All right, toward the end of the interview, Mr. West spoke on the issue of Black mobility within society and said, I'm a community builder, but the people that have in the past been in a position of power are going to try to separate Jay and Damon Dash, separate my mom and dad, separate me and Virgil, Aplo. You see a pattern? That makes it impossible for Black Wall Street. I thought of our community growing when we are not forced to make the choice of whether or not we can afford to have a child, when we're not forced to say, I'm going to have to kill this N word because he said this or this. You never hear about Jewish on Jewish crime. They kill each other in business in a different kind of way, but not actually physically taking a life. According to international definition of anti-Semitism, making mendacious, dehumanizing, demonizing, or stereotypical allegations about Jews as such, or the power of Jews as collective, such as, especially but not exclusively, the myth about a world Jewish conspiracy, or of the Jews controlling the media, economy, government, or other societal institutions, is an example of anti-Semitism. Okay. So I don't need to discuss the video that's already floating around about what Kanye said about, and he started talking about us being, the people. Okay. So enough camps and other brothers have done that already. So what I want to discuss is now they calling this anti-Semitism. Okay. So hold on, let me check the chat real quick. All right. So Shabbat Shalom to Michael Paul, Shabbat Shalom to you. All right. So again, if you want to come in, and if anybody wants to come in and join this discussion, about these current events, we can. So now we're gonna talk about this one. So they found a way to flip what Kanye said and make it anti-Semitism. They found a way to do it, just like they did with Deshaun Jackson, just like they've done with countless others, Nick Cannon, all of them. Like they always find a way. Ice Cube, all of them. They always find a way to flip it to make it seem like it's anti-Semitism. Anytime you speak about us, they will find a way to chop up what you say and flip it into anti-Semitism because anti-Semitism is a trigger word. Okay, it's a trigger word. All right. Oh, will they kill each other in business, and and so he's making the correlation to how we as a people, you know we kill each other, stuff like that. He went on to say if we knew who we were, we would treat each other better. He went on to say stuff like that, and all those things. So he wasn't speaking on anything anti-Semitic at all. He wasn't speaking on that at anti-Semitism at all. He was speaking about us. But anytime you speak about us, it's anti-Semitism for them. All right. Because of the agenda. All right. So it's anti-Semitic. I mean, okay, let's just call a spade a spade. It's anti-Semitic to say that we not the people. All right. Let's just call a spade a spade. All right. I'm sorry, Sal, if I get you shut down, man. But this stuff's starting to make me upset, man, when it comes to this. All right. Like it's getting ridiculous. So um anytime any of our notable figures that are in this country, that are esteemed by this society, by this you know by this carnal society, uh or anytime they speak out and say anything on any platform, whether it's their own or whether it's another, hey, they're being anti-Semitic. They're being anti-Semitic, and actually, a lot of what Kanye was saying was actually true. I know he said a lot of crazy stuff in throughout his career. That we've known him being a musician, but he was on point with what he was saying. He was on point. So I didn't find a lot of error in what he said in what's the highlight of what he said in that interview. you know. I mean, he talked about a lot in that interview, but that was the highlight of the interview. But again, these uh committees and organizations, they found a way to flip it into anti-Semitism. They just found a way to do it. And this is getting crazy, man. It's getting crazy. So once again, the link is in the chat if you guys want to come in and discuss any of this. We can always be, again, if you come in later, we can go back and revisit and discuss any of this in more detail. But yeah, as you already know, Israel, they already, pushing this out about Kanye saying that we the people. But we also gotta include this as well. Hey, look, they already found a way to flip it into anti-Semitism. They already found a way to do it. All right. So it is what it is, man. All right, let's continue on. All right. Woke, this is from Fox News channel. Woke racism author McWhorter, Condoleezza Rice's criticism of critical race theory is dead right. Author tells Brian Kilmeade show CRT is being pushed in public schools. All right. Columbia University professor and author John McWhorter said on Friday that former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice's criticism of critical race theory was correct. She's dead right. The author of Woke Racism told the Brian Kilmeade show. The former Secretary of State, who served during the Bush administration, denounced the teaching of critical race theory, a CRT in schools, declaring that Black children could be completely empowered without making white children feel bad for their race. It says during a guest host appearance on ABC's The View, Rice, the first Black woman to head the State Department, cited her experience growing up in segregated Birmingham, Alabama, as she argued that young children didn't need to be taught CRT and parents need to have a say in their children's education. Rice clashed with co-host Sonny Hostin, who claimed without evidence that some parents were seeking to prevent their children from learning the real history of America and reaching a point of true racial reconciliation. Come on now, Rice said. People are being taught the true history, but I just have to say one more thing. It goes back to how we teach the history. We teach the good and we teach the bad of history. But what we don't do is make 7 and 10-year-olds feel that they are somehow bad people because of the color of their skin, she added. We've been through that, and we don't need to do that again for anyone. McWhorter said it is true that critical race theory was originally formed by legal scholars in 1981, and that the version is not being taught, and that is not the version being taught in schools. However, he explained further that the underpinnings of the ideology are being pushed in public education. And Condoleezza Rice is not crazy to refer to that. I'm not crazy to gather the news stories and the countless and the countless uh like anecdotes I have from schools at practically every state of this country saying that this sort of thing is influencing the way things are being taught, he added. It's like 1 second. Okay. And then it says, McWhorter said that calling out the issue of teaching critical race theory is unfairly seen by some as not battling racism. So you're supposed to pretend that it isn't happening, but it is. And I don't want my children affected by it. And I don't want this country's intellectual culture to be based on that one thing. It's not that one thing isn't true. There was slavery, there was racism, and there's still some now. But for that to be the main thing that an education is about, instead of teaching people to think, I say no. I, as a black person, do not need that transformation on the behalf of black people who need help, and neither do they, McWhorter said. Okay, and we will end it there. All right. So I just want to say Shabbat Shalom to Jasmine Joshin. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. All right. Okay, so interesting. So now I'm actually still kind of learning more about critical race theory. I'm still learning more about it. Um and from what I know about it, um uh there's certain aspects of it as far as like the reality of what has taken place historically that yeah, because they're definitely not teaching that accurately. I mean, I learned more about my own history, and what really happened once I got out of school. So I mean, I graduated high school in 2003. So I've been out of high school almost 20 years now. So but and man, how time flies. But yes, but with regard to critical race theory and what and what Condoleezza Rice is saying, she's not totally accurate in what she say because uh all the bad is not being taught in schools about slavery. That's not happening. Okay. Again, that type of information I did not learn until after I got out of school. So that's not being taught. Okay. And in fact, they're changing a lot of the history books and it's being watered down. So what she's saying is totally incorrect. All right. Um on the flip side, some components of critical race theory that I know of, no, I don't agree with. I don't agree with it at all. There are some components of it that I don't agree with. Um, but yeah, I'm just again, we're just staying up to date with what's going on. Let me look at this chat real quick. Yeah, so yeah. Again, I there's not much that I learned about my history, you know, uh, until I got out of high school and I had to buy books and I had to read on my own. And unfortunately, it wasn't until like I kind of came in this walk, all right, which was back in 2009. So yeah, I didn't learn a lot, and they still aren't learning too much about slavery and stuff like that. I mean, they learning some stuff because they can't just ignore it, but the way that the way that they're teaching it, it's a very watered down version of it. They not really teaching it the way it needs to be taught, you know. So, um, yeah, they're not lining everything up historically, with regard to what actually happened before slavery and all that, like what led us into slavery. Like none of that's being taught. Okay, so no, we're not getting the good and the bad. We're not getting either. We're actually just getting a bunch of watered down versions of our history. Okay, we're not getting the good or the bad. So Miss Rice, you're just wrong, and you continue to make a fool of yourself. Anyway, let's continue on. So once again, the link is posted at the top of the chat. If you're tuning in, link is posted at the top of the chat if you want to join this discussion. All right. Okay. So next one. We got actually after this we got two more to go. All right, then we're gonna be wrapping it up. All right, New York. This is from CNET. New York City Mayor elect says he'll take his first 3 paychecks in Bitcoin, telling his Twitter followers he wants his city to be the center of the cryptocurrency industry. New York City Mayor elect Eric Adams is embracing Bitcoin. All right, and as you see, it's a brother. So it says, spurred by a tweet from the mayor of Miami, New York City Mayor elect Eric Adams told followers Thursday that he plans to take his first 3 mayoral paychecks in Bitcoin. New York City is going to be the center of the cryptocurrency industry and other fast growing innovative industries, Adams tweeted. Just wait. In New York, we always go big. So I'm going to take my first 3 paychecks in Bitcoin when I become mayor. New York City is going to be the center of the cryptocurrency industry and other fast growing innovative industries. Just wait. All right. So this was his tweet. It's a high profile embrace of digital currency at a time when regulators in the US, including in New York City, are heightening scrutiny of cryptocurrency exchanges. Last month, New York State Attorney General Letitia James asked 2 lending platforms to cease activities after winning a court order forcing the closure of cryptocurrency exchange CoinSeed. Still, Bitcoin may be on the rise in the Big Apple. On October 19th, ProShares, an investment management firm, launched the Bitcoin Strategy ETF, the first Bitcoin linked exchange fund to be listed on the New York Stock Exchange. The Adams campaign didn't immediately respond to a request for additional comment. All right. And so we see, so now Bitcoin, you guys know Bitcoin's, it's been growing lately. I tried to mess with Bitcoin a little bit back in 2000 and what was that, 16. I tried to mess with it like a little bit. But I really wasn't like all that familiar with it, so I didn't really stick with it. Um, but now it's kind of like, and at that time, Bitcoin was about to hit like 20,000 as far as the value of it. And then it like had dropped. It had dropped to like 6. So it got cut by like almost like 3/4. So it got cut significantly. So yeah, by 75%, like the worth of it. Like it got cut bad. And so a lot of people took a hit, including myself. Like I had took a hit as well. So that's why I kind of like had backed off of it. But recently now Bitcoin, I think I saw numbers up to like what, like somewhere between 60 and 80,000. Like now it's like up there, and I'm like, oh man, dang, maybe I should have just held on to it because I could have doubled my buddy. But yeah, so but bringing this out also because we see that our currency, it may start changing. It may start changing over to more of a cashless thing, and we already, I mean, it's already kind of like a lot of us have debit cards now, and I mean, we can still get access to cash, but they're really pushing for cryptocurrency. They're making more of a push of it. There's more investments in it now. There's more stuff that's going on with cryptocurrency. I mean, there's even pitches that's made on Shark Tank. I watch Shark Tank, a lot. I pretty much watch every episode. And so yeah, there's even pitches made, with regard to cryptocurrency on Shark Tank as well. And so there's definitely this push for cryptocurrency. Um and honestly, like I said, thinking back, I'm like, dang, if I would have held on to it, if I would have just held on to it, it would be worth more than what it is now, than what it was back then. It would be worth like almost 3 times as much. So I kind of missed out on that. I should have just kind of just, held held to my guns and, and waited. But anyway, yeah. So we see what's happening with the currency. Um um I believe also Elon Musk, I know he's you know talked a lot about making the change. For those who don't know who Elon Musk is, he's owner of Tesla. So yeah, definitely, yeah, we need to be paying attention to this as we see, the dollar and how it loses its value, um and the shift that they're making. You might want to jump into cryptocurrency now. So I've been contemplating it a little bit more, and I'm like, man, I may have to just jump back into it while I can, because pretty soon cryptocurrency is gonna be worth in the millions. So yeah, you might want to just jump in, because you could potentially have have some money. But where does this lead us to with regard to cryptocurrency? Where does this lead us to? As a whole, only the Most High Yahweh knows. So we just got to stay informed about what's going on and the things that they are doing. All right, so let's continue on. All right, so two more. Here we go. All right. So now, so this is from biblicalarchaeology.org. All right. Bethsaida and the Church of the Apostles. All right. Updates from the excavations at El Araj. Two possibilities for a biblical Bethsaida. In 2017, excavators at El Araj uncovered a Byzantine basilica. The question on everyone's mind is this the lost church of the apostles? El Araj, located along the northern shores of the Sea of Galilee, is one of two sites proposed as biblical Bethsaida, and the other being nearby Et Tal. In the Bible, the village is famously the home of the apostles Peter, Andrew, and Philip. John 1:44. However, Bethsaida was abandoned in the 4th century and was not mentioned again until an 8th century Bavarian bishop traveled to the Church of the Apostles that was said to be built atop the site's ruins. Over the past century, scholars have tried repeatedly to locate biblical Bethsaida and the Church of the Apostles. Recent discoveries at the Byzantine Basilica at El Araj are now providing new evidence that the site may indeed be the location of the Church of the Apostles. Uh, More evidence for the Church of the Apostles at El Araj. From the start of the excavations, the team found gilded glass tesserae, which only appear in the ornate churches of the Byzantine period. As the dig continued, it became clear that the basilica was extremely lavish. During the 2020 season, the team discovered the remains of elaborate mosaic floors. In 2021, more of the church's mosaic was uncovered, along with walls that indicated the building measured approximately 88 by 52 feet in size. The team also found two fragmentary inscriptions, one mentioning the construction of the basilica and the other referencing major renovations carried out on the church. According to Dr. Stephen Notley, professor of New Testament Christian origins at Nyack College and co-director of the excavation, there are no other churches in the vicinity mentioned by Byzantine visitors to the Holy Land, and there is no reason to question that this is the Church of the Apostles. All right, so all right, it says all right, let me continue on right here. It says a strengthened case for El Araj. Excavations began at El Araj in 2016, revealing the remains of a Roman era fishing village from around the time of Jesus, along with the large Byzantine basilica that was built centuries later atop the earlier village. The basilica only went out of use in the 8th century when a large earthquake devastated much of the region. While there is still no definitive evidence that El Araj is biblical Bethsaida, Notley notes that the Byzantine church serves as a witness to the long Christian memory that kept alive the location of the city of the apostles. Everything we have discovered has only strengthened the case that El Araj is the site of the New Testament Bethsaida. All right. And let me stop there. All right. Let me go ahead and bring on Michael Paul real quick. Let me pause the stream real quick. All right, Michael Paul, you're live on the air, and Shabbat Shalom.
Hey, Shabbat Shalom, brother. Thanks for allowing me to come on. All praises, all glory to the Most High God of Israel and His only begotten Son, Yeshua the Christ, the Mashiach. Hey, Shabbat Shalom to everybody in the chat. Thank you for being a part of this today as well. Thank you, Brother Sal, for continuing to keeping this door, this window of the debate talk for you to be available for us. To come over here and get this knowledge. Brother Gabbar, blessings upon you and your household, and I pray everything's well with your family, brother. And I've been listening for a while, and I seen this coming across the airwaves last night. I was watching a couple of camps doing these things, these presentations, and I don't think we should be gravitating to these big major these athletes and these rap artists. As soon as they speak, they people are on every whim of their tongues and stuff, and it's like, yeah, but we've been saying this for years, but nobody gives us attention. But it takes a man that's got the as what's that man's show, Colin Kaepernick said, the white man stamp of approval. So all these people that are now trying to push forward the agenda of the Israelites and the Hebrew roots movement and things like that, they've all had the stamp of approval to do these things. That man Kanye was in the White House with Trump like few years back. So it's just like, wow. And now he's saying this. So just got to be very careful and hold them, to be very wary. That's what I'm saying. Just be, don't take everything they're saying as truth, but it's good that it's being spoken, and the conversation is being started once again, and that's definitely promoting the kingdom. And a lot of people are going to do research. So we as Israelites, that's been walking this walk a long time, we're going to be under more scrutiny now, and the microscope's getting closer and closer to what we're doing. And I seen Carmelo Anthony. There was one with him coming on talking about the Hebrew roots movement and the Israelites movement and stuff like that. So a lot of people are starting to come, into some type of enlightenment through other people they come across, through God putting them in their past or whatever, and which is good. I'm not trying to take away from that, but just be very careful and not try to, because these people are just now getting a little taste when there's been people been in this walk for generations now, and nobody's asking them questions. Nobody's really, putting them in the forefront. Kanye said what he said, but he should have had an Israelite next to him. You see what I'm saying? He should have had one of us standing there really giving them the truth of that word, backing it up with Bible history. But he didn't do that. You see, so it's very foolish move on his count, because we're very strategic, because we're in a battle and we're dealing with this daily, day and night, on our walk, and he's just now getting some type of thought about doing this and promoting it, but he doesn't have the right support, and he hasn't had the okay to do so from the community. So, and these people they're really out of order, and in doing that, they need to fall back. They need to get in the community, get in a so-called camp or whatever, and learn, and then say, well, I've been learning under brother Yehuda for 5 years now, and now I'm called to speak this message and use my platform to bring everybody into this. So they're not doing it correctly. So that gives me suspicion. I'm suspicious about that. What they're trying to do. Are they trying to get the authorities on to our communities? Or are they trying to get us, we already had like a target on our backs, since over in New York when they was running up in that Jewish deli and tried to shoot those Jewish men, them Hasidic Jews. So there's been a target on us for a while. The community has been tarnished, and we need to be very careful, and promoting and putting these people on there. And everybody's wanting to say, "Oh yeah, this is good. We finally come." Somebody's probably speaking up for us, but no, that's out of order. I do think that's out of order, brother. And go ahead, brother. I got a little bit more, but I go ahead and let you speak.
Yeah, yeah, some of these celebrities that they do just need to they really just need to just shut up. Like some of them just need to just shut up, because you know what's gonna happen. I mean, it's a proven track record. I mean, there you are going to get blackballed. I mean, and it's gonna start with, hey, he's being anti-Semitic. I mean, that's been the reoccurring pattern. So, I mean, you coming out and you saying it, and look, within 24 hours, it's already, hey, he's being anti-Semitic. Okay. So, again, this is why some of y'all just need to just shut up. And yeah, I agree with Michael Paul. Why don't you reach out to some of the elders in this community? So, I mean, there are organizations in this community that you can reach out to. All right. If you don't like one, hey, you can try over here. Yeah, we do got different doctrines and all that stuff, whatever. But you can reach out, but that's the issue with these guys, even with whatchamacallit, Brandon T. Jackson, man, and some of the stuff that he said, I'm just like, yeah, man, you out of order, man. Like, you ain't even been in this long enough for you to be trying to flex your celebrity like that, you know. It's like, this ain't got nothing to do with being a celebrity. This walk ain't got nothing to do with that. And these guys just feel like, well, I can just say, because and and that these guys, some of these guys really just need to shut up. And the scriptures teach us that it's a time to speak and a time to remain silent. And you're better off just not saying anything. You're better off just not saying anything. I mean, look at whatchamacallit, that's a part of the Sakari camp. The brother from Jagged Edge. Like, he man, we don't hear too much from him. Like, we don't hear too much from him, and I remember watching something where actually Alazar was giving him, his due respect. He was like, hey, like, even though he has to still balance his career, man, he's still out here doing work with us, and he's out here on the streets with us, man. If he just needs to read for us and all that, yeah, he's not necessarily on the front line teaching, but like, he's still out here with us. So, like, that's pretty much how it needs to be, man. Like, some of these guys, man, they need to just fall under order, and have someone who's got more of an more of an authority with these scriptures to be able to, convey the message, and you just be there as a support. You know what I'm saying? Use your muscle that you have, quote unquote, in this world to support what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to take it upon yourself to do that because, you know, we see the pattern. We see the pattern. We have the
That
information to fight the war. We got
that's
the
right,
information
brother.
to do it.
They come in and they speak and then they disappear too. They flee away,
Right, they do.
and then it's like, what good did you do? I know we can catch more bees with honey, with more flies with honey, with sugar, So these people are the sugar, you see, and that's what God's trying to do, but they're not doing it in order. And God revealed that to me. He said, that some of these camps are wearing the fitted caps and still, in the hood and still talking the way like the hood and stuff. But that's to get that man that's in the hood. I see what God's doing. I see you, God. You trying to get that man because you connected with the street still right there. But once he comes in, you can feed him with that truth, and then they'll start learning and growing, and then maybe they'll elevate out of that. You see what I'm saying? But these celebrities is the same way. That they're the things that draw men to it. It's like a moth to the flame. So when they see that man, he needs to been he should have just used the platform for one of us to be like, hey, now tell him the truth. Tell him what you told me, to get me where I am here. He said, and he should have fall back and gave the platform to somebody, but they're not doing that. And that's really hurting our community because, a month later, when everybody hates these people, you don't hear nothing else about it. And it's just like, oh, a slap to our community because now we got to deal with the fallout from all these people trying to attack us. And, oh, I see trying to attach us to what these people have said. And they were speaking, untruths and different winds of doctrine and things like that. So I mean, it's good to see that these brothers are coming to some truth. Praise God for that. But like you said, if he ain't falling back, and allowing these other brothers that's been out here, been doing this work, it's a disservice to our communities and what we've been doing for a long time. And yeah, brother. Praise God. And then dealing with the school system, I'm all about that stuff. And I just see it, these other people, they come out and it's black people. It's like they use a black person against a black person, and we see this throughout time and throughout history, even in the slave days when they had the house Negro over all the Negroes in the field. It was always us against us, and it's still going on with this governor in Virginia that just got elected. This black woman. It's always a black woman too now. Now they go to the black women. They go after the black women. They promote these black women, and then they have these black women speaking for the whole so-called black community. And it's like, why y'all keep doing that? It ain't no so-called black man that they promote. Put it that way, because they know that black man might really come to some truth, and he might turn on them. But they found a way to seduce these so-called black women and to say exactly what they need them to say, and to do a disservice to us. And yeah, that's why. And back to what Kanye did. That's the reason why they call him an anti-Semitic, because he doesn't have a Jew next to him. You see, he doesn't have a Jew speaking. He doesn't have one who's been found fit and worthy, who's been keeping the Shabbat, who's been, doing all the feast and been doing, and can quote these days and show records and receipts of how long he's been in this truth. And I've got generations that's been doing this. No, we're not anti-Semitic. We're devout Jews. We keep Torah. And you see, he didn't have that. So of course they're gonna flip it on him. All these other people, that Nick Cannon, you said Ice Cube, all of them that try to reference that, they don't have no Jew next to them. So of course they're gonna pick them apart. That man, they didn't have no man standing next to him with a katana, a ZZ, a fringe, nothing, no head wrap, nothing. It's like these people are just talking out of their minds. Of course they're gonna just pick them apart because the in that community, there's people that's really devout and devoted every day. Reading Torah every day. They're abstaining from evils. They're doing this. They're suffering. They're not partaking with the world. They're not doing all these things. And of course, a man that's doing that gonna say, "Oh, it's just he's an anti-Semitic. Look at him. Look what he's saying. Oh, he's a Jew now." And of course they're gonna attack him.
Yeah, the only one I think that's still standing on their feet and hasn't had to fold and go back is Ice Cube, because he recently actually he stepped down from a movie production because he didn't want to take the jab. So so he actually had stepped down from that due to that. So I think he's the only one that's still like standing on his square, man. But all of them, man, the rest of them, and Kanye, I see he probably gonna fold himself, man. Like he's going to fold. Like Nick Cannon went back, everything and stuff because they careers was getting harmed detrimentally. So so they all had to fold and do these do these outreach type stuff with Jewish communities and say, hey, we're gonna go to the Holocaust Museum and all this stuff and everything. I'm like, man, well, what about us? Like, what about what he said about us though? Like, oh, that just gets ignored, and so it's like, man, that's why again, like they don't know how to really, go at these guys, man. They don't. And that's why they need to just shut up. If you believe what you hearing is the truth, and it resonates with you, and it identifies with your spirit, then yeah, come in and learn and all that. And yeah, like the brother Michael Paul was saying, man, like use your muscle as a support to push up the people who have been doing this that can actually fight that battle. You know what I'm saying? And get in those rings with these scholars. I gotta put air quotes, man, because everyone is a scholar these days. But when they just a bunch of liars. So um but yeah. Let me get this last article out, man, and then we'll proceed off because yeah, man, I know there's a lot more to be said about that. So let me bring this back up. Bring this back up here. Okay. So once again, if anybody else, if you guys wanna join the chat, you guys can. You guys are more than welcome to. You guys are more than welcome to join. Gonna bring out this last one real quick. So let me bring this back up. All right. So yeah. So again, so we were reading about this discovery. So we see that more and more. Our history. Remember, 'cause this is our history. This is our history, Israel. It's our history that's being discovered. You know, um, through the grace and the power of the Most High Yahweh. This stuff is being unearthed, and we are getting the discoveries. Okay, and a lot of stuff is being confirmed. So, in that time, we'll be able to go back, and be able to, have something to kind of, you know, say, hey, this is a piece of our history. Okay. Uh, so we're gonna go to the last one real quick. I'm not sure what happened to Michael Paul. I was hoping he would actually stay on. Um, Hopefully he'll come back in. But let's continue on. All right. So last one. All right. So from LA Times, what LA County's median home price 795,000 buys in 6 areas. Okay. Um, all right, Los Angeles County's median home price soared to an all-time high of $795,000 in September. Depending on where you're looking, that sum can buy a starter home or a family estate, a 700 square foot bungalow in the city, or a 3,000 square foot dwelling in the desert. Here's a look at roughly at what roughly $795,000 buys in 6 areas around LA County. Okay, so now breaking out this last one, uh I live here in California and it's expensive. It's expensive. I mean, even I'm not even in LA County anymore. I'm like I'm like at least an hour to hour and a half outside of LA County, and it's still expensive out here. People have left LA County to move here, and now it's driven up the cost of living here. No home here is under 500,000. Like, they're all starting at 499. Okay, brand new homes starting at 499 that they're building up. They're flattening entire mountains and hills out here because this is a lot of hill terrain where I'm located at. Um, I know on in TV and stuff, you often see California with the beaches and the palm trees and stuff, but when you leave outside of that, it's a lot of hill terrain. It's a lot of hills and a lot of mountain terrain. And they're flattening hills in the Inland Empire area to put up like neighborhoods and gas stations and stuff. Like whole entire mountains that were once there are like flattened out now. So because the population is growing and the cost of living is going up. So in Los Angeles, 795K is the median. Okay. That's the median. And here's what 795K can get you. Okay. So check this out. So in Monterey Park, it says a mainstay on those best places to live lists Monterey Park a suburban lifestyle in the San Gabriel Valley. In addition to serving as the home of 35,000 student East Los Angeles College, it offers a variety of houses listed between 700,000 and $1 million. Look, look how big the home is. This is what you get between 700,000 and $1 million. This is how ridiculous the price has gone up for California. You're getting something and it's not even that big. It's not even that big. It's crazy how expensive it's gotten here now. And this is why a lot of people are migrating out. A lot of people are migrating out of California. And I know that is going up in a lot of other places too. 'Cause I know a lot of people had moved to Georgia around the Atlanta area and stuff, and now I'm being told that it's getting expensive there. I'm getting told that and people are making a move out of there. They like, man, we might have to go to like South Carolina or something now. You know, so it's getting expensive in a lot of these major cities now, in these major areas. But this is what you get. You get this little shack. You get this little shack for almost $1 million, between 700,000 and $1 million. This is what you get in California now, in Monterey Park. So let's move down. All right. Okay, so yeah, they want $799,000. They want 800K. All right. It's a 5-bedroom, two bathroom home in Monterey Park. And and it's a single story home. It was built in the 1940s. It was remodeled and so on and so forth. Okay. Okay, here goes Michael Paul. Let me bring him back in. All right, here we go. All right, Michael Paul, we got you back on. Yeah, so 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 that's what so that's what these homes are going for now. Look, this one right here, uh 600,000. All right, this is Vermont Square. Look how small this is. It's very small. Okay. This house is 112 years old. Um, it's got as much outdoor space as possible with a front yard, backyard, and spacious porch, a fresh paint job, uh, brought to new life the exterior, and there's also an outdoor staircase that ascends to a second story ADU. They want 800,000 for this. All right. So now this is 5 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms and like 1,900 square feet. Okay. But again, they want that these homes are almost going for like $1 million now. These homes are not that large. These homes are not that large, and you don't have a lot of land space. And this is how much these homes are going for here now. Okay. Uh in Tarzana. Now this home is it looks like it's got a little bit more space, right? Uh 800,000. Okay. Monrovia. Okay. So this is kind of like outside. So So Tarzana, Monrovia, these are the outer skirts of Los Angeles County. All right. It's kind of like the outer skirts, kind of like going into San Bernardino County and Ventura County. Like it kind of starts to venture off into those areas also. But again, look, 800,000. Cagle Canyon, almost 800,000. Lancaster, okay, because a lot of people moved out to Lancaster, all right, and that's in the desert, okay. 800,000, okay, this home right here, they want 800,000 now. People will move out here and get homes for like cheaper, but now that's not the case anymore, okay. So we see that it's getting real expensive to live in California. It's getting expensive to live in a lot of other places. And you know I mean, we live in California. We had to come back here. I don't know if we're going to continue to be here because it's just getting real expensive, and me and my wife, we've been having a lot of talks about you know actually leaving again. So um, yeah, because it's just really expensive here, man. So this is the times that we are in, and then they're trying to move the economy towards crypto, and prices are going up, and so as we connect all these dots, we just got to be aware of what time it is. All right, all right. So let me stop that there. All right, Michael Paul, turning back over to you. You got anything to share?
Yeah, dealing with the crypto. Yeah, I purchased some Dogecoin, and it's just been going down. I ain't checked it here recently, and I didn't invest that much, but I see if this the way the world's trying to go to that cashless system. So definitely, yeah, I'll probably end up investing a little bit more into that because you don't want to. These people they're definitely trying to leave people behind. That's what it's all about, and get ahead and to start a new currency system. And not everybody's into this system. You're definitely gonna have some people really gonna suffer from this, and that's what if you don't know about it, then you're not gonna buy any of it. And when you do know about it, when you finally come to the realization that, oh, I need to buy some of this, it's going to be too expensive for you to buy. And that's what their game plan is, to get people, pretty much keeping you like in some type of slavery or bondage through not having these type of currencies. Because Bitcoin is so ridiculously overpriced now. Like you said, it's like $70,000. Who can afford to buy one stock, one share of that? Nobody. Nobody's gonna buy $70,000 worth of crypto unless you just have it laying around, and and you can buy a percentage of one share. I heard one guy he said he had 0.100 of a share of Bitcoin, and I'm like, wow, they're breaking it down. So just one share, they're breaking it down into so many little parts. So I mean, I see it going that route. And I went into I had to pay my rent. I had to get a money order, and in this little check cashing place, they had a Bitcoin machine, and I was like, oh wow. And I started talking to that's what he told me he had that much of a share. So yeah, it's definitely going to be moving in that direction very soon, very soon. I mean, soon, and all it takes is one of those millionaires to convert all their currency into this currency, and and that'll sway a lot of people. A lot of people follow those rich people, man, and those wealthy millionaires and billionaires. So that's all it'll take is one person to do that. And it reminds me of that movie that I was watching this week. And I enjoy watching that movie. It's called In Time or Enough Time with Justin Timberlake. And they got that currency is their life. The time is their life. And what they were trying to do throughout that movie was shut down that system that allows people to be immortal with with this time, because it was like a currency or whatever. And at 21 you got only a year's worth of time for free, and then after that you have to start working and earning time for your life. So I mean, they've already got movies promoting that type of currency that is cashless. It's just it was like a mark on their arm that they were using to get that. So man, it's crazy. And then dealing with the property. Yeah, I used to live in Lancaster, and actually I was trying to buy a piece of land outside of Lancaster. I think it was in the San Bernardino desert or one of those deserts. And the property was super cheap, but there was nothing there. It's just complete desert. So I was thinking about just buying that property in the desert and just keeping it. And the taxes were so low that I could afford to do it, and just until, like you're saying, that property in the cities and is going up so high that people are going to start moving out past Lancaster and further and deeper into the desert where there's nothing at, and it's going to be developed soon. So I'm gonna probably end
Yeah,
up investing in that now that I see these prices just going so ridiculously high.
yeah.
Because everybody
Homes are
wants to
going
be
up
there.
fast. Yeah, these homes are going up. They're going up fast. I mean, just around the corner from us, like maybe like 5-10 minutes away from us. I mean, like they pulverize an entire hill, and then they and the homes are going up fast. I mean, it's almost kind of scary how fast they're going up. I'm like, man, are these homes safe to live in? because of how fast they're going up. And I went down by the border to go see a friend out there in a Spring Valley, which is near the border before you get into Mexico. And that's a lot of hill terrain down there. And they doing the same thing. And knocking out hills and putting up homes. And I'm like, wow, they're going up real fast. So yeah, it might be wise to make an investment because I mean, I don't know as far as like the economy, I mean, the price might go back down. I mean, but I don't know. I mean, the way this stuff, everything is just kind of just going up, but it look like it might bottom out also. So that's something that we got to be aware of. Give me 1 second here. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Praise God.
yeah, I wanted to kind of bring this up because you were talking about how they just like with that movie out of time or out of yeah, I forget exactly what the title is, but I know what you're talking about, where like their time, where like the time was their currency, and it was their whole livelihood. Like if they ran out of time, they couldn't even live anymore. So it was everything. It's what they worked for, everything. Then you had people who were so who were so who had so much time, that they just preserved their youth at age 25, though they might have been who knows how old they really were, you know. But it kind of reminded me of what it says in Psalm 49. So I actually want to get that real quick. All right, Psalm 49. And let me flip it to this one. All right. So let me get this. All right, let me pull this up here. All right, Psalm 49, and I want to start at verse. I want to start at verse 6. All right, so it says, "They that trust in their wealth and boast themselves in the multitude of their riches, none of them can by means redeem his brother, nor give to God a ransom for him. For the redemption of their soul is precious, and it ceaseth forever, that he should still live forever and not see corruption. For when he seeth that wise men die, likewise the fool and the brutish person leave their wealth to others. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names." All right, so uh let me finish out at verse 13. It says, "Nevertheless, man being in honor abideth not. He is like the beasts that perish. This their way is their folly, yet their posterity approve their sayings. Say lie." All right, so these people, they feel like what they're doing, they've convinced themselves, in their riches, that they're just gonna live on forever. They can pass it down to their children. I mean, some of these people, they might even, I mean, they literally might be trying to preserve, their life through their wealth. Coming up with all kind of wicked inventions to live on forever. Probably trying to transfer their brain or their consciousness into other vessels and stuff. Like much like how we see, in these movies and everything. Like, that's what these people probably want to do. Or like Get Out. Where you got the whole coagula thing going on. So like these these people have a means of wealth where they will try to do wicked things to live on forever. So what Michael Paul was saying about, you know how they're trying to leave people behind, and they're like changing this currency around and everything and stuff. They just want to keep this going. They're doing all this so that way they can keep this thing going with their wickedness. All right. So they see that, all right, one system is failing. All right, let's pivot, and let's now go into this direction. Okay. And that's what we are coming into. Michael Paul, you got anything that you want to add to that?
Yeah, I got a scripture to read as well. Let me read out of the book of Amos, and it's chapter 9, and it's verse 8, and it says, "Behold, the eyes of the Lord God are upon the sinful kingdom. I will destroy it off the face of the earth, saying that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, says the Lord. For lo, I command, and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations, like as corn is sifted in a sieve. Yet uh, I shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us."
Mm.
So a lot of these people, man, you see them out here talking against this truth. It's gonna be this place is gonna be destroyed, man. And he's God's gonna sift us through. All of Israel. So got to be very careful, brother. Just be very careful. That's the warning right there. Even in our own house, like Kanye's trying to say I'm an Israelite, and Carmelo and Nick Cannon and everybody else. Yeah, you'll get sifted through. So, be aware, and this kingdom will fall that we're in. They try to preserve it. They're trying to, kick over to another type of currency. They're trying to do, a little dribble move or whatever, and try to skirt to something else, but it's not going to work. It's not.
At all.
It's not going to work. No.
At all. Not at all. All right. Just want to say Shabbat Shalom to brother Shalash. All right, Bahasham Shah Hamashak Yahawashai. Shabbat Shalom to you. All right. So there you have it, everyone. That's the news and current events that I have for you guys. Yeah, definitely. I know that Kanye thing's probably gonna be floating around for the rest of the weekend, but again, I wholeheartedly agree, man. Some of y'all just need to shut the up. Like, y'all just need to shut up, man. Like, if because you're either gonna be helping us in this truth, or you're just gonna or just get out the way. Or just get out the way, because we got souls to save. We trying to help save our people, man. We trying to bring them back to the Most High in Christ, man. That's what we trying to do. We're trying to get these souls. So, I mean, if you doing this to make it a spectacle, just shut up. But if you sincere, reach out. There's a plethora of Hebrews you can reach out to. You know, even if you worried about your celebrity being exposed, or whatever, you got brothers that's not out here on the front line, doing it like that, where your celebrity can be kept under wraps. I mean, if you're worried about that. So yeah, just shut up, man. But anyway,
Yeah, definitely. They need to reach out. They need to reach out to somebody who's well learned in the truth, and then give them an opportunity to use your platform. That's what God's plan is for that.
I mean, or even if they want to come here on debate talk for you, I mean, Sal, I'm sure Sal won't have a problem with that at all. And where you can actually have a panel discussion with various individuals in this community. I mean, like that can be arranged. But again, just don't make it a spectacle for for these Jewish people to use a catalyst for anti-Semitism. To use
Yeah,
as a, to use as a right.
these space Jews, like Chappelle called them, right?
Right.
These space Jews. I
Right.
don't know where
Yeah.
that man got that from, but hey, Chappelle's holding it down, though, man. He's not
Yeah.
cowering down, man. I see that. He's in
Yeah.
his own little community in Iowa or Ohio. Man, that's good. I seen a little bit of hope in that, man. All he needs is that truth in him, man. He'll take off.
Right. Yeah.
He'll take
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Most high willing, that brother, gets it and repents and comes on home. So yeah, but we're gonna get ready to close this out. So much respect to Sal Showtime, man, for allowing us to do our thing here on debate talk for you, and allowing us to get this information out to where we can at least, and if the Most High deems it necessary, plant a seed, so that way, those individuals who are hearing this can be edified by the information, by the current events, or whatever the case is. As you see the information scrolling down at the bottom, there's multiple ways to reach out to debate talk for you and to get in contact, so that way those things can be done. So if you got any information that you want to share here on the platform, any debates that you want to see set up, make sure you guys reach out, get with us, so that way we can get that squared away for you all, most high willing. um Once again, be back next week for another episode of Spiritual Food of the Sabbath Meal. And we will hopefully the ears can be edified at that time as well, and be able to continue to bring the souls in, and you guys can get good content here. All right. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Michael Paul for final words, and then we'll leave you guys to enjoy the rest of the Shabbat.
I just want to say thank you to Brother Sal allowing this platform to be available to just people like us that just needs an outlet to release some of the things that's going on in our days. And yeah, I just hope we need to continue to pray for these people who the devil's using to do the devil's will instead of doing God's will, that they repent of their wicked ways, man, and start listening to God and incline their ear to the good things that God has in store for them. That's what I need to say. And Shabbat Shalom to everybody. And I've enjoyed this. Thank you, Brother Gabbar, for allowing me coming on.
All right, all right. All praises, all praises. All right, Israel. We're gonna go ahead and be signing off. I just want to say, may Yahweh keep you and watch over you always. I bid you all a farewell. Enjoy the rest of your Shabbat if you keep it today. And with that, I say shalom.